Hi, this is Christopher Roney, and this is my social justice digital narrative for ECS 110. And so I decided to use a toy that I have and that I used in my childhood that I didn't know really was offensive until now. So I chose Cowboys and Indians, kind of the little army men type thing. So like Michael Yellowbird says, cowboys and Indians have, for me, come to symbolize America's past and present infatuation with colonization and genocide. And really, it has like it makes a game or like a toy out of the genocide of a really a race and its culture and language. And we need to stop using the term cowboys and Indians in movies, books, toys, because it's incredibly offensive to First Nations and Indigenous people. And also, it's insensitive to the people that died because of the genocide and the quote unquote cowboys coming to kill and colonize. Um, Also, another academic source is Cap Pistols and Rubber Tomahawks, Learning the Ways of Cowboys and Indians by Nathan Stuckey. In page 301 to 309, he talks about playing like real life cowboys and Indians with cap pistols and rubber tomahawks. And again, that's insensitive toy to use, as well as it's teaching kids like what's wrong with like not indigenous people, but what's wrong with how they're seen by children and the games, and of course, like the headdresses and the tomahawks and the arrows, and the cowboys being the looking heroes with all dressed nice and fancy with the guns and flags and trumpet. And of course, the term Indians in Canada, the term Indian is not used anymore unless it's honestly in a derogatory term or used to insult Indigenous peoples. But in the United States, the term's still used today, and that's where kind of the toys are most used in the US because Indians isn't as derogatory as it is in Canada. Um, Also like the Wild West, supposedly like United States, but also it was Saskatchewan, Alberta as well. But of course, we don't use the term Indian anymore. In Is Everyone Really Equal? The glossary under Indigenous or Indigenous people, it talks about the term Indian and how it's used in United States and Canada, and how Indian is in Canada is more of in the past. Uh, it's in the past compared to Indigenous or Aboriginal. What's offensive about the toy? Well, obviously that the toy has red skin. Obviously, redskins are another derogatory term for Indigenous peoples. And also, it's a racist depiction of a First Nations quote unquote warrior. The way he is dressed with no shirt and the loincloth. Also, some have headdresses that are wildly inaccurate, and the cowboys are also depicted as the heroes, the to beat out the quote unquote savages, or the indigenous people. In American Indian stereotypes in the world of children, reader and biography by American Indian stereotypes. The page 161, chapter 6, talks about the toys and how it contains cowboys and the fierce looking Indians. Also, Tribal Fantasies, Native American in the European Imagery, 1900 to 2010, edited by J. McKay. D. Stirrup, page 107, states that the classic Indian is a befeathered male warrior figure, which, of course, is a like racist, stereotypical depiction of what a First Nations uh, warrior would be. How can it be fixed? Well, obviously by making a better depiction of a First Nations person or a First Nations quote unquote warrior. Also, not to use the color red for the figures because of its derogatory meaning behind it, as well as educate kids and students on the subject so they don't make assumptions that the Cowboys were the quote unquote good guys and the First Nations people were the quote unquote savages. Uh, Also, to stop calling it Cowboys and Indians because it's not the proper name. Even though Indians is used in the United States, it's looked upon as derogatory and insensitive towards First Nations people and their groups. Honestly, the toy shouldn't be used in schools because they depict genocide of culture and the languages and everything behind what is wrong with the toy. Thank you and goodbye.